Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. So today I want to talk to you about a saying that I used to hear when I was a little boy. And the saying was coming from wise old people. At that moment in life, I was of the opinion that older people, that's in our culture, in African culture, this is how we view older people as wise. And I don't think it's just relegated to the African culture. It's relegated to most cultures around the globe. The older you get, the wiser you become. But in retrospect, that's not always the case. Not all older people are wise. That's true. But for the most part, older people are wise. They have wisdom. Hmm? But in any class or ages, there are gonna be wise people and there are gonna be unwise people. There are 20 years old that are wise, full of wisdom. There are 10 years old that are full of wisdom. There are 30 years old that are full of wisdom. There are 40 years old that are full of wisdom. And there are the same age group that are not full of wisdom. So I don't think the notion that we were taught of older people as being wise and full of wisdom is true. So my thing has always been to look at things backward. When someone tells you something is good, don't just accept on the premise that it is, because what you see as good may not be good, may not be good for you either. So that's how the world is. So today we're just going to be focusing on general stuff, right? So I talk about almost anything. Whatever comes to mind is what I talk about from the common sense perspective. So when I was a little boy, there used to be a saying that the way you make your bed is how you lay on it. In short, what the old people were saying, because I think the older people, 80 years, maybe I say 80 years, because that time some of them were close to that age. So they must have been born in their early 50s or maybe early 40s. Some of them, the one that I used to speak to, because some of them were in their early 50s. Not early 50s, but maybe late 50s. And I used to hear them talking because they used to sit down and sometimes they play checker, if you know what checker is. And some will play cards. And if they see a kid doing something stupid, they'll call the attention of the child. They'll be like, hey, if you keep doing this, I'm going to let your mom know, or I'll flog you myself. It's that kind of family. So even when you walk by them, there's a certain way you have to greet them. And if you don't do that, they'll be like, son, daughter, the way you make your bed, that's how you're going to lay it on it. So what that means is whatever you do in life, whatever way you start your life, whatever thing you do to get into a relationship, however you got into that relationship, that's how you're going to continue that relationship. It's your problem now. So therefore, you, my friend, must handle it Whatever problem you create, it's your problem. If you create a good problem, it's a good problem for you. If you create a bad problem, that problem becomes yours. You're the ones that's going to have to deal with that. That's what the old wise people were talking about. So if you want to start your life, in order to start your life on a good footing or on a great path, you, my friends, must think wisely. Don't rush into it. Don't do it out of love. Don't do it out of sympathy. Don't do it out of curiosity. Don't do it out of risk. And most importantly, don't go into that relationship out of emotion. Because emotion will make you make your bed in a way that once that bed is fully put together and made right, that at the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to be laying on it, which is your problems. Whatever that problem becomes, is your reality. And in the beginning of that situation, whatever is it you're going through while you're trying to construct or reconstruct that relationship or that situation, that becomes your reality. And then along the way, as you're constructing and reconstructing whatever that situation is, good or bad, there will always be voices on the side. That would be your family, your mom and your dad, your uncle, your aunties, your cousins, your nephews, and sometimes your best friends. And there will be some will egg you, some would push you, some would say, go girl, go guy. You're hitting the mark. You are in for a good ride. Everybody would be cheering you up. But let me tell you, friends, not all of the voices that are cheering you up towards whatever it is that you're doing, the conditions, the realities that you're building, are voices that meant good for you. You understand? So as you've made the bed, put a nice bed sheets on it, has a nice cozy mattress on it, nice pillowcases, pillows, very spongy. So you sit back. Now the bed is made. It's made, for you. And you look at the bed and you say, wow, I've made myself a great bed. And then the old people said, once you've made that bed now, it is up to you to lay on it. So the same has a lot to do with the choices that we make in life. And sometimes when we are going off the cliff, we don't see some of the obstacles and some of the things that are ahead of us. But because we are so blinded and we are not looking, we're not thinking straight, so we are unable to see that we are slowly walking off the cliff. So I always tell people that, for instance, and this is the mystery of life, imagine that us humans now, imagine if we knew when we're going to die, if we knew what would kill us, what will unlive us, if we knew who will unlive us, How do you think we will live our lives? Um, so that's the thing. I always thought about this thing, like if we knew this thing, when we gonna die, how we gonna die, who are gonna unlive us, how do you think we would live our life? Is it a good way to live your life? Anyway, knowing your end, your end of your journey, like the journey of life. How long do you have on this planet? What would you do? Would you just live it anyhow? Or would you live it for a purpose? You see? And I remember getting to this place in my life, and that's how I see it from that moment on. And then it start to make sense. And then it start to say to you that the best you can do is do the right thing. You know, doing the right thing means doing those things that would make you, put you in a state of mind where you are at peace, not with the world, not with what people say, not with what people think of you, but to a place where you feel happy about who you are as a person, as an individual, as a productive members of society, a member of society. And I think that's also part of the bed that you make. And making that bed can mean a lot for some people, especially if you are beginning your life without no support. As is the case of many people in our society that are growing up, I can say now in real time, with the reality of having no help, having no one to fall back on. They are most, I can say, vulnerable. And those who are vulnerable are the ones that are the target for people who out here are preying on people based on their vulnerability. I mean, we see a lot in our world. This goes for both men and women. When someone will come into your life when you are least secure. In other words, you are vulnerable. And you would think they are there to actually help you out of that situation. If you're not wise enough to understand that there are people out here in our world that would take advantage of you, take advantage of your kindness, take advantage of your gullibility, take advantage of you because they think they can. If you're not wise enough to know, you fall prey to these people. And there are many of them in our world. You find them everywhere, not just in one place. So I think the best you can do, and this is what I've learned over the many years that I've been on this earth, that is to surround yourself with good people, good family. How do you know these people? How do you know someone is good? How do you know someone cares about your interests? How do you know someone has good intention for you? How do you know these things? As Yeshua HaMashiach says, aka Jesus the Christ, that he says, by the fruit we shall know them. By their fruit we shall know them. So it's the things that comes out of a person that they say, their actions, their behavior, their intentions, that says about a lot about them. These are the fruits that they produce. Is their fruit one of deception? Is their fruit, or are their fruit one of abuse? is the fruit manipulation is the fruit care, love, integrity, transparency, principles, value that you are important to them. These are the fruits Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ, spoke of. But the scripture is designed in a way not to, almost like ambiguous. It doesn't really explain things. That's why it's meant for interpretation, because when you look at the scripture, you can almost, like some religious texts, they'll tell you A, B, C, and give you example. But some of them are not like that. But if you understand who the true Yeshua HaMashiach is, aka Jesus the Christ, you start to understand the words without understanding without digging into what it's trying to say. So you can go beyond what the parable is trying to convey. Because Jesus spoke in parables. Everyone knows that. It wasn't direct. Most of the time, most of his teachings, that's how you know a great teacher speaks that way. So that's why I think it was Peter or one of them, and he said, what you've said, no one in this whole world knows these things. So someone beyond the self, beyond the physical must have told you these things. Because this thing has never been revealed to no one, a person of a man. So you see, so that's how you understand these things. And that's true. Wisdom comes from beyond. It comes from the Almighty. Wisdom, true wisdom, not the fake one. There are earthly wisdom, and there are wisdom from the Almighty. So to understand in the process of making a well-dressed bed so that you can lay on it for the rest of your life, you must immerse yourself with wisdom and understanding from the Almighty, because earthly wisdom can be deceptive. That's why for me personally, I pay attention to a lot. I think it's because of where I am, like as far as understanding things. I can be sitting next to someone, or I can be far away from you, and I can just read through the line. Like if you're saying something, I can pick it up real quick. Like those hidden subliminal messages that are in what you're saying, I can pick it up real quick. And I know like this right here is not right. That's just part of me. I think I can say for the past 5 years, I've become to understand these things, like human characteristics. It doesn't mean that I haven't made mistakes. Everybody make mistakes in life. And that's the reason why I'm more understanding, not like more sensitive towards people who make mistakes. And I don't think that mistakes should hold you back. I don't think that whatever has happened to you should be a reason why you're not willing to get up from where you are and rise up and be renewed and be transformed again. Because I think we all have second chances. And the Almighty is just waiting for us to reach out for the final enlightenment, And that's the reason why most times I often advocate reaching out to the ancestors. The ancestors are part of us. Whether we know or not, they are part of us. And the best we can do when trying to live our lives or when we're growing up, and this is why you need to always teach your children who their great-great-great-great-grandparents were, their history of who they are. You should never allow them to forget their history, because that helps propel them when you are not around, when you're no longer in the picture. It helps them grow. It helps them be better. It helps them go through adversities. and be resilient against all odds. You know, there are terrible human beings in our world. There are those types of people that would exploit other people for anything, anything. Money is the key, always the key. But there are other reasons why people will exploit other people. So you have to be very, very careful, because these people who are out here, they make their bed. And in life, how you make your bed is how you lay on it, because there are consequences to everything you do. You may think that what you're doing, others are not seeing it. Others are not able to comprehend what you're doing. That you're slick. You know what I mean? That you're wise, you're smart, you're intelligent, you can outsmart everyone. But just know that there are people in this world that just look at you and say, go on. If that's what you want to do, go on. If that's what you want to be, go on. And they're just watching you. They will not forget, because they are taking historical account of what is it you're doing. The receipts will always be there. So that's the reason why when someone flip-flop, people who are not paying attention, they may not see it. But there are one or two people in the bunch that knows when you flip-flop the last time. And all they need to do is pull out the receipt, and that's your bet. And now your downfall just comes spiraling down. And then that's it. So whatever you do, always know at the back of your mind, there are people watching. There are people that are taking receipts on you. And there are people that are historians. And they will always write your history, even if you're gone. When you fall, they will be the one to like, we saw everything that he or she was doing. And some of us try to warn them, try to warn him or her, but never paid attention. Try to say, stop. Right here. That's where you should stop. You made the bed now. The bed looks great. Just stop right there. And that, my friend, is the essence of life. Make your bed right and you'll be great. The greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone is not the day you were born, not the day you had your first car, the day you graduated from high school, college, became a lawyer, doctor, none of that stuff. The greatest thing that could ever happen to you is the day you discover yourself. Because from that day on, everything, my friend, will start to make sense to you. I want to say thanks to all those people that watch my videos, those people that subscribe to my channel, and those people who share my videos. I want to say thanks to you. And most importantly, I hope that you and your family are in good health. Have a great and pleasant day. Thank you.